How's it going, everyone? Like you can see, we asked what video do we want to do today, budget control or me versus Chaos Turbo, and democracy showed that we have to do this replay. So we are going to do it. And unfortunately, I can't yell too much because I think that my parents may be already asleep. So this was a ranked match. We played it like 5 hours ago, I think. It's him. So this will be an actual review. I won't mess around too much. Let's see. So you know that I have been saying a lot that Detox Goat Control build has a monster lineup that is immune to Sorcerer, right? This is one of the main advantages. And by being immune, I mean that we don't have to leave any monsters face up that are going to -1 against Chaos Sorcerer. Okay, but let's just see. This hand, 2 revivals, Air Knight, it's very dead. And of course, we set Torrential here and just wait. And we can hope that this doesn't go to wild, but of course, Chaos Turbo is opening wild openings. He goes. And we can't out this. Okay. I remembered from my previous matches against this guy that he plays everything. He plays Breaker, Tsukuyomis and stuff. So I decided I won't set Merchant here because I want to catch his Tsukuyomi with Torrential. But of course we can set Dust Tornado now because it became a chainable. And it gets MST, that's okay because Torrential is very important now. And he goes again with the Charity discard attack. He sets another one with still the same argument as before. He goes again, he mills his BLS, it's okay. We still can't do anything. We are waiting for Tsukuyomi. And now we have Ashura, so we try to clear this. Another possible thing was to try to snatch and tribute, but I think that's just not worth it. We have Heavy Storm and snatch will come very handy in the future. So we try, we get ringed. Now we are feeling not very happy with our life points, but we have to. Now at this point you could argue that I have to Torrential here, because if I don't, I will lose 3000 life points and I don't have a comeback next turn, which means that if he just attacks again, I will lose. So I think this is my misplay now. At this point, I am supposed to Torrential, but I decided not to. He gets greedy and awards my my Torrential weight, and now of course we have to Torrential. But he goes again and just OTKs me with 3 Chaos Sorcerers and a normal summon. So now we go first. Okay, first one word about my sideboard. In this sideboard I sided 3rd Scapegoat, 2 creature swaps, 1 Exiled Force, and I put out 2 Book of Moon, 2 Sakuretsus, and I think 1 Mirror Force as well. It makes sense, right? Now I just set Serpent here because I'm just willing to risk this Nobleman for the quick Air Knight per shot play, because we don't have anything else to summon right now. So he just sets, and this is fine for us. And we can go for Air Knight now. So if you ask me again, I wouldn't use Heavy Storm here because he plays chainables like Phoenix, Wind Blast, and this could get very bad for us. But yeah, he is the guy that will set Heavy Storm through 1. We attack, draw, it goes nicely. So he has an answer, but no back row. And now you can see why Asura is so important in these post sideboard configurations, especially with creature swap. You already see the play, right? Asura will first... Okay, yes. So I didn't consider creatures Snatch Steal here, but if we didn't have Snatch Steal, I mean, I use Snatch Steal because I wanted to banish his flip, but if we didn't have Snatch Steal, situations like this, you can use your Spirit to destroy all of his monsters and then swap for Chaos in the main phase too. But yeah, right now, of course, we want to banish his set and set our own. It's better to do it this way. He continues with setting, doesn't have much. We'll just banish, flip and tribute. We go for aggressiveness because, you know, his deck sucks if he doesn't open the Trinities. His graveyard is empty and we can just push. He said some more and we will just continue. Not much to say. I had a game here actually. Creature swap for BLS, attack twice, and it's game. And the last game of the first match, we open some bricks and now you can see the action of Exiled Force in this match a little bit. We don't have to make his hand bigger with resolving his flips, we just put Exiled in graveyard. And now you can see revivals are now not only revivals, but they are also chaos out, because we can always go for premature Exiled and destroy his chaos. But now we are up on the summon, of course we will use it to set our flips. He sets to back row, and that's why in the standby phase he bounces my merchant. Now I decided I have so many normal summons now that I will just use it on the breaker here. Usually you don't do stuff like this, but this is different matchup, and like I said, many normal summons, we have to spend them somehow. And now I don't set Dust Tornado because he has his own breaker still in the game. He sets one, we will just attack and then continue with setting merchant like we did the previous turn. And now of course, you know, when he has a back row, it's safe to set our Dust Tornado because it becomes a chainable. So he goes with Torrential, and it's actually a 1-for-1 play, you know, because breaker is a floater. So, but that was a good play on his part. Now we want to use our summons, you know, and we can't set Fate because there's no spells, but we can go for Premature and set Merchant with Tsukuyomi. So we do this play. I think it's not very hard to discuss any other plays. This one seems the best here. So he still doesn't have any outs to our monsters, and again, now we can go for the pressure. You know, his flips aren't dangerous right now. We can try to go for Air Knight. And we are feeling safe with our, I think it's Scapegoat set. Oh no, it's Dust Tornado, so we are feeling safe because we have protection against Snatch Steal. This is one of the most important factors you have to consider before summoning Air Knight, is whether or not your opponent has a Snatch Steal. If he has Snatch Steal, then you have to have one of your MSTs, Dust Tornadoes or Book of Moon to back it up. Or just some solid way of answering a snatch if he snatches it, you know. It can be Heavy Storm as well if you are not in danger of dying to life points. But here we just counter. He doesn't do anything, so we kill him. Okay, not yet. But you know, this match is not very interesting. Until the end, we just win. So I will quickly go over the second match as well. So, you know, I ringed the Sengan for the game. Okay, the second match, he starts. Now we are happy to have the duo in the first turn before his hand is full of Thunder Dragons, Serpents and Night Assailants, so of course we use it fast. We don't want to summon Breaker because he doesn't have a back row to pop, so we have to go for Nobleman and set our own merchant. We don't set Scapegoats because we don't want to trigger his Breaker and we don't have anything to use them right now. You know, like Metamorphosis. He top decks Thunder Dragons, so we keep that in mind, that two of his cards are just Thunder Dragons. He sets. Okay, standby phase, we can't do much about it right now, but we have Premature and nothing in the graveyard. So now in this scenario, I think it's correct to decide to go for Breaker, because we don't want to let his summons to stack, and we have to clear them. But of course we still won't set Scapegoat now, because of the same argument, but now it's even worse. If he has Snatch, he will Snatch and pop. Not very good. Not very good. So, you know, he is stacking his summons and we will stack them as well. Okay, so now I don't agree with this play anymore. You see, I tributed for Air Knight. And now I don't have my books and my MSTs and my Dust Tornadoes like I was talking about earlier. So in this scenario, I would prefer to just set Merchant and we get to stack our summons this way. But yes, this is the play we did in the game. And it was a good play, but only in this context. But overall, like I said, I don't agree with it anymore. We draw another set, it's good. And still we keep Scapegoats. We are not in the danger of a game right now. He keeps setting, and now of course we have our book now, you know. If we did the play like I suggested previous turn, not tributing for Air Knight, but setting Merchant, we would flip the Merchant now and tribute for Air Knight, so it would be pretty much the same, but now we have to go for Premature. I mean, have to. And of course, I'm a little careful about his Morphing Jar, I'm not sure, so I play around Morphing Jar as well. It's never bad if you can effectively play around Morphing Jar like this. You know, we would do this in main phase 2 anyway, so it doesn't hurt to do it in the main phase 1. We are just getting free damage, free draws, and this is why Air Knight is a very good card. So he finally gets his Chaos Monster. I mean, he probably had a Chaos, but he didn't have a Dark Fodder in the graveyard. So from previous turn, I think he doesn't have much bitters, so I decided to Book of Moon my Air Knight to try to keep as much pressure as possible. And this also works because if he wants to run over my Air Knight, he will have to commit a summon, and if he does, I will just go +1 with Snatch still. Or it's actually +2, I think. So he commits Premature. You know, he's probably the only Yu-Gi-Oh player in the world right now that uses Chaos Turbo with revivals and everything. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward here. We flip Merchant, get the heavy, and we go for Snatch play. But you know, you have to decide here between Merchant and Asura. If you go for Asura, we can clear the flip, which is important. Like I think so, it's important. And but if you go for Merchant, we have the summon, you know, we have the setup for top decking Tsuks and Air Knights, but he has his flip, so I prefer Asura. He has infinite lights, so the damage is more important than banishing. And now I think, you know, there is some argument that he could possibly go for game if he has like some combination of BLS and Breaker, if he destroys his Chaos Sorcerer somehow. So I think this is why I set Scapegoats. But you know, if this wasn't the case, you don't have to set scapegoats now. Oh, so okay, I didn't. So it's very good if you don't set scapegoats now, because we have to prepare for eventual heavy storm, and we want to first use heavy storm and then set our back row, you know, not vice versa. So now we have our chaos sorcerer, and I think it's safe to go for game now. Oh no, right, we have snatched chaos sorcerer, so we just attack. Put merchant to defense to play around mirror force. It's important that these floating flips survive, because, you know, 200 damage is nothing, but a body that can be tributed or Zukuloopt is very important. So he gets his chaos on the top deck, and well, we just win now. You know, not much to see. So I will go to the next game. So, you know, this is interesting, because here I ask him, why do you play a deck that can only win if he opens Tidrak, Pot and Charity? But look now, he will do this opening, and he will still lose spectacularly. Okay, so this hand, creature swaps and nothing to swap them with, so not very good, except if he has two monsters, then still we can set one monster, attack the other one, and then swap Tsukuyomi. So here he goes, Potent the Dragon is the start, and he goes for the T set, and our top deck saves us now. You see, in this situation we have to go for Scapegoat, activate right away, and then swap. And we will not use our duo right now, because he still has 2 Thunder Dragons in hand. And of course we will also not use heavy, because creature swaps are not very easily answered, so we will let him set some more cards if he wants to in the future. So we will have his Magician of Fate. He will go for Charity, so yes, we have the opening, the Dragon, Pot and Charity. He discards his Dark, and so I think, well, this means he has a Chaos, but now he discards the third Thunder Dragon, so it didn't really matter. But now, you see, this discard here means now that he doesn't have any fodders like Serpent or Assailant, possibly. So in the next turn, my Delinquent Duo is safe. So here I was thinking, you know, first thing, I saw him play Magic Jammer, and it looks like his set is Magic Jammer, because he isn't afraid of Heavy Storm. So let's first try to activate Duo and get him to either negate it with Jammer or lose his hand. And if he loses his hand, his Jammer is gone. So then we can go for heavy. So first, this plan goes well through. And now this is a very interesting situation here, so I will spend 10 seconds to talk about it. We know that he will top deck Magician of Fate next turn, and we don't actually have answers to it, because, you know, if you kill the breaker, then Tsuku goes to hand, then he sets Magician of Fate, and then we can't swap, because, you know, he has a token. So this is why I decided to kill his token instead, and I hoped that he will flip summon breaker next turn, so I can kill his breaker again and swap for Magician of Fate. So this happens. I set creature swap just in case he doesn't flip breaker, and I top deck a monster and he kills my monster, so I can revive it and kill breaker and swap a token. So he falls for the trick, and, you know, now we are winning again. I think I will just fast forward. He gets something going on, but yeah. Now it's just you know, routine. When Chaos Turbo is on less cards than Goat Control, you know, it's already over, so... And even if he has more cards than you, which is going to be 99% of the time, it's not even sure that he will win. So maybe you know, like I already talked in my article, but very briefly, there are two strategies to side against Chaos Turbo. One is, we call it in my team, we call it fatigue strategy, which is what I did here. But this is not the full fatigue strategy. The full fatigue strategy also uses mind controls, and the other is the aggro approach. But I haven't ever tried it yet. We will see, maybe video about it in the future, or maybe keep it a secret. Bye for now, and thanks for watching.